Alrighty, check me out. I'm here. I'm here. And I am live. And I thought I was going to possibly call out sick today. Some of you may know that I had a TikTok live scheduled for today. Others may not. I share my TikTok live schedule with the people on the mailing list, and I like to keep my promises. And this is funny because this example right here of stuff that's going on, I don't know, you can probably hear it in my voice. So I have a cold. I started getting a cold yesterday when we were traveling. And part of me was like, my husband's like, you're going to do your TikTok live. And I thought, you know what? But I am here. I will confess, here in a room you'll rarely see me do a TikTok live in, which is I'm laying in bed, pretty much, sitting up in bed. So we'll see how it goes. You all are a friendly bunch. You're going to cut me some slack if my voice sounds a little bit crackly. Just because my voice doesn't sound great doesn't mean that my brain is probably not working as well as it would, as sharp as it would if I were, not sick. But I'm here. And I thought, actually, to be honest with you, German maid, I am sick. I started getting a cold yesterday, maybe the night before, actually. But really yesterday when we were away, we came back from our trip last night. So yesterday I felt crappy and went to bed. And then right now, honestly, thank goodness for me scheduling stuff in the way I did, is that I have a TikTok live now. Then I have a bunch of open time that I had some stuff to do that I'm now going to rearrange. And then later in the afternoon, I have some coaching to do. So, but I figured I would show up. I can totally make myself feel worse by, saying, nope, not going to do it, whatever. But here I am. And there's a couple of things that I thought were helpful to share with you. And if those of you, again, if you haven't met me, if you haven't met me, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. And this is probably more of there's a couple of things that I realized about not feeling well. Because I talk about this a lot with my clients, is when you don't feel well physically, or mentally, like right now I have a yoga block I'm up against because my back is hurting. When you don't feel well, you don't do well. When you feel better, you do better. But just because you aren't feeling 100% doesn't mean you can't show up. I'd rather show up and have 10% than none at all. Now, trust me, you guys, if I felt sick enough that I didn't want to do this, if I was getting rumbly in the tumbly, as I like to say, or something, I would, with heartfelt sincerity, say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to do this. But I'm thinking for the next 55 minutes or so, Abbott Elementary, you know what, maybe my husband will get me some tea. He's actually going out. I have my water. This is left over from the airport yesterday, so I just found this in my bag right here. Oh, you're so sweet. Yes, he just heard me, and so he said tea coming. So take care of yourself. Take care. Care for yourself when you're not feeling well. I'm doing that by clearing my schedule and saying, you know what, anything I thought I was going to get done today is going to be on a case-by-case basis because I feel crappy. Now, luckily, the way my schedule is I have control over that. That hasn't always been the way. Seriously, for the first 50 years of my life, I feel like I was always scheduled on somebody else's schedule. But taking care of yourself is one way to, just when you feel better, you do better. I always go back to that. Here's the other funny thing, too, and I'm sure this has happened to you, is like when you're not feeling well, sometimes the stuff piles up, the clutter piles up. I'm always thinking of this. Kara's got the middle of an asthma flare. Oh, get better. I'm in prednisone, which is insane. I think I've gotten that at some point. Yeah, I think I just have a cold. We are going to my husband's going to go out and get a COVID test just in case. I was wearing a mask all yesterday while we were hanging out with our friends on vacation. But I just want to have that kind of peace of mind. Good morning, Lori, Corey. Nice to see you. But what I want to offer to you is, it is totally okay that when you're not feeling well, that things are not, neat as a pin and spick and span and all that. I always think of this, and it's going to be true today. When I am laying in bed and I have a cold, I will grab a tissue, I will blow my nose, and I'll just throw it on the floor. I will. I won't even try to get it in the trash can. When I feel better, when I get up, I will then pick up all the things. And sometimes that may be you around the house, even if you aren't cluttered, or excuse me, you aren't sick. You're not feeling well, so you're not doing so well. You're letting the dishes pile up, or you're letting the laundry pile up because you don't feel good. Let's figure out how you can feel good, how you can feel better. Now, I'm doing some things to make myself feel better. Honor how your body feels. And, if it says I need a little bit of sleep, okay, do that. I needed some, pressure on my back to make me, make it feel better. I even have, check this out, you guys, a special guest star. This is Felix. So Felix is my teddy bear that I've had since 1980 something. 86 maybe, right? I can't remember. I worked at Filene's in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, and I won a contest. We had Felix was one of the gifts because they had this Feeling Filene's thing. So honestly, I'm not going to lie. I when I'm feeling crappy, I will bring my teddy bear into the bed, Yeah, and he's wicked nice. It's so huggable, so squishable. And do things that make you feel better. Because when you feel better, you're going to do better. And when you do better, you're going to feel better. It's nice of him, And I'm so glad that, Debbie, you're saying, good to hear, thank you for the permission. Yeah, sometimes people say, knuckle down and buckle down. And I say, screw that. Because here's the deal. It's going to take you, if today, if I just forced myself to go through my whole entire schedule, and I did not take into account my humanity, my humanness, I would feel even worse at the end of the day. It would take me even longer to feel better. Don't forget that the people that tell you to just knuckle down and buckle down are benefiting from your energy. And the best you can do, what you should do is keep your energy to yourself. Hoard that stuff. Be selfish with your energy. Say, no, I'm not going to do that because I need to feel better. Okay? So I say that. Here, Felix, you can sit over there. I say that as like an act of, self-care sometimes takes courage. When you hold firm to saying, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I feel sick. I will show up for myself before I show up for anybody else. Okay? So think about that. Because when you take care of yourself, you can, even if you don't want to take care of other people, you better take care of other people. But even if you don't, taking care of yourself, your body, your nervous system, your physical health, your home, that should be something that makes you feel better. So I noticed that about myself. I am going to be much more relaxed today in what I get done. I'm going to celebrate what I do. I almost said do. And I will congratulate myself for what I did do, and I will forgive myself for what I didn't do. Because tomorrow is another day. I don't care what you say. Tomorrow's going to be another day. Now, I will say, I know when I start to, maybe this happens to you, like I'm feeling lousy, so I'll sleep. But then I'll get up and I'll be like, I'm kind of bored. So then I'll get up and I'll putter around. Not feeling, when you're not at 100% or even 50+%, puttering and decluttering, So today, maybe my goal, I will have adjusted. This is another thing. Yeah, okay, there we go. Abbott Elementary. Also brain capacity. Yes, totally. Your brain, your nervous system, your physical health, all your muscles, all of those things. We are not machines, people. We are not robots. We are not machines. We are human beings, and each day we feel a little bit different. And when you feel better, you'll do better. So do the things to make you feel better. Yeah, Abbott Elementary says, skipping my 10 o'clock class because I have lots of must-dos today, and it feels good when I do it. Yes, taking care of myself, it feels good. Now today, this is the other thing I was getting back to, was this, to me, I think this is a really important lesson. And I figured with me feeling crappy, it's like you probably see me often when I show up on TikTok. I'm like, hey, you guys, let's go. And I'm full of energy and stuff like that. I am not always that way. I am mostly that way because, frankly, it just feels better to be a little bit more cheery and can-do and stuff like that. But sometimes I'm crabby as the next person. Sometimes I don't feel well. It's okay for you to feel that way too. But when you match your energy, your kind of to-do list to the energy and time you have, when you take all those things, when you factor in the time you have, but also the energy and the focus, and you kind of do your best to pair those things up so they're equal, you will feel much better at the end of the day than if you think you're going to too much and you don't have enough energy, or, maybe you have some energy and you're kind of spinning your wheels, Okay, yeah, and I love this. Oh, interesting. Have your dear husband check local libraries before buying a COVID test at the store. Many have kits for free. Thank you very much, Barbara. That's a good idea. I will do that. And I've averaged 5 hours of sleep per night for a week. I'm taking a nap today and not feeling guilty. Yeah. Now, when I talk about the feelings you feel, and this does have to do with clutter, do not get me wrong, is kind of if we drew a line down like the middle of my body right here, on the one side, on the one hand, you're going to have feelings that come basically from fear, guilt, shame, embarrassment, discouragement. But there's another hand. On the other side of that line is the opposite. So in my world, the way I think of it, because it really helps frame it, is the opposite of fear is love. Love for yourself, kindness, curiosity, openness, a willingness to do something different, encouragement, courage. All of those things are on the other side, And when you realize that what you're feeling makes you do one thing, so change how you're doing things, like those things are all interplayed. If I felt guilty, if I was afraid you guys wouldn't like me, if I was afraid I wouldn't get any new clients, if I was afraid, I may show up even when I was feeling even worse than this, if I was afraid I was going to get in trouble at a job, for example. But to me, there's love, there's trust. I trust that if I show up as a human, maybe this will even help one person. Like some people have just said on this TikTok live, I'm giving myself permission to take care of my human body. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to maybe drink some water. Hey, Polnichik says, I was able to walk through my apartment without winding my way through messes, and it filled me with joy. Awesome. That is so cool. Yeah, notice the feeling you get when you are decluttered. Even when you're decluttering, it's not going to be, it's when you realize you're doing it because you want to get something kind of from the end, it changes you on the road trip too. Oh, we love you more. Thank you. Yeah, as I said, I think it's really, I'm not going to come out and just be like, oh, you guys, I feel so horrible, yada, yada. Because that's not how I'm wired. I'm not looking for sympathy, but what I'm saying is, hey, we are all humans. We all wake up feeling a certain way. What am I going to do with the energy I do have? So I say that to you. Look at me for an example. Am I running myself ragged today? Hell no. Probably literally after this, I am going to, take a COVID test, drink some tea. I'm going to shut the blinds, put the room darkening cushions on and lay in bed. I might, scroll on TikTok because that distracts me from how crappy I feel. And I suggest that you do the same when you're not feeling well. Because the sooner you take care of yourself, the sooner you just will feel better. If you try to expend the energy. Oh, boobity boo. Thank you.
Hot.
Thank you. Ooh, it is hot. Wicked hot, Johnny. Look, you brought it to me in the Beatles mug. All you need is, it says all you need is love on the other side. It's wicked hot, though. So, we missed you, says Bobby. Okay. Cool. You know what? Here's the funny thing. I feel like it's just kind of, it's really good for me and for you, for me to not show up all the time. First of all, I'm sure you feel this way sometimes about certain things. When you enjoy it, when it's fun, you do it. And then at a certain point, there's that mysterious tipping point where it's not so fun anymore. But I really hope that when I am not showing up, that you are practicing some of these tools and habits and processes that I share. Chunking things down, taking care of your body, making a schedule, writing down your schedule of what you're going to do today, but writing it in pencil. So if, you start to feel lousy, you can change it. I like showing up though. So I tend to do that. Like this week. So last week we were away and then I'm here for the rest of the week. And then next week we leave on Sunday to Thursday. So I want you, it would make me very happy. I will just say this, and I hope it would be too, to practice what I'm preaching when I am not around, because this is the whole reason I even coach. I could come into your house because there are plenty of, productivity coaches and declutterers and professional organizers who will come into your house and help you with this stuff in real life. What I realized very quickly when I was doing that is what people need help with the most is rarely just the physical stuff, or the physical stuff anybody can help you with. What I have found that people need help with, that I love to help with, is up here in your head and down here in your heart, is decision making, deciding, should I stay or should I go now? You know what I mean? Deciding what you're keeping and what you're removing from your home, the quantity of items you have, the quality of the items you have. I can't do that for you. I was on a client. Yeah, no, Jelly Bee. I have a excuse me. I have a cold. I hope it's not COVID, but I'm calling it a cold at the moment. But thank you. Okay, so Debbie Hummel is asking, you have clients, can I DM for help? You can't DM for help, but I'll explain the process to you and for everybody. So I have one-on-one paying clients, and I have clients that have signed up for a 10-week paid package, and I say 10-week, but it's really 10 sessions. 10 sessions, usually the same day of the week for 10 weeks in a row, and sometimes if you need more, we just extend it in a 10-week package. And what we do then is we just work one-on-one. So Debbie, it would be just you and me working on your issues. These TikTok lives are great because a lot of the things that come up are universal. People having a feeling of, I can't let go of that or else I'll get in trouble. That might be worth something someday. I'm afraid of making a decision. I'm afraid, all sorts of things. There are recurring motifs. Now, I know this because I coach people all week long. But you may not know this, so you may think that you're the only person on the planet who's feeling guilty about, getting rid of Aunt Mimi's, dresser or something like that. I'm just making stuff up. What I want to help you do is get into the habit of making a decision that feels right to you, So just notice that. You can do that. Ooh, still hot. So that's what coaching is about. If that doesn't sound like it could be for you, because it is, it is paid coaching, is I highly recommend for everybody, seriously, everybody here on if you're liking my stuff on TikTok, you would love the fact that when I have my mailing list, email mailing list, I send out an email maybe once a week at that, when I have something good to share. And the people on the mailing list find out when my TikTok lives are going to be, so you can show up when I'm showing up. We also do a monthly group Zoom call where we get together and kind of do like a bit of a group coaching thing. And I do some workshops, I do some trainings and things like that. All of those types of things, for the most part, are free for the people on the mailing list because the mailing list is free. If you're interested in that, destinationdecluttered.com. If you go there and scroll all the way to the bottom of the homepage, there's a form there. You can just put your email address in. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, Joy Ginger is saying, I have my father's furniture and my furniture. I need to get rid of one set. I just can't make up my mind. Make my mind up. Yes. Making your mind up, making a decision. And here's a really fun thing. I like to play with words, I like to play with words because there's insight in this. When you make a decision, you make your life. You decide what person you date. You decide what you eat. You decide what you drink. You decide. The decisions you make create the life you have. The decision to ignore people when they're being jerks. The decision to help somebody out. Your decisions create your life. So to me, helping people with decisions and saying, okay, well, if I do this, it's going to be this, and I do this, it's going to be that, and then trusting your gut and your heart, so you can do that. And if you're not used to making decisions that feel right to you, it's probably because we live in a consumerist, capitalist, patriarchal society that discourages women from thinking of themselves first. You're supposed to think of others. It's greedy. Oh, that selfish bitch. Oh, she's a single cat lady. Notice how that isn't such a good thing to some people. Now, I don't have cats. I don't particularly like cats. I have a dog. I'm not single. I'm married, but we have no children. So notice that when women decide to do other things, it can get some people's panties in a bunch. There we go. Boop. All right, I'm doing this. All right. So, Terry is saying, I have 4 people's things in my house. Yeah, and Terry, I will offer this. One of the 4 people, there are 5 people in my family, and there's not one of them I'd swap. Some of the stuff in the house is your stuff. I always say to people, even if you live in a house with other people's stuff, the way to figure out what to do with their stuff, or to teach them what to do, even better, is to learn how you're going through your own stuff. You know, your things, not everybody else's, but when you learn how to make decisions and remove your stuff, you can better teach somebody else. That's why I show up to do coaching. And thank you, Terry. Hoping I feel better. Yeah, I sound kind of crappy. I took some Dayquil before I got on here, so, but thank you. Everybody, learning what lights you up and what kind of, slows your roll, like that you don't like. Notice those things. And the more that you can err on the side of the stuff you want, the stuff that brings you love and joy, and just get rid of the stuff or the people that don't bring, yeah, okay, and 4 people passed away. Ooh, yeah, the stuff that was owned by people who are not here anymore will make you feel feelings. And we are discouraged from feeling feelings in our society. We're also afraid that when we start the feelings or we start to feel the feelings, that they're going to go on forever. I'm going to start crying and I'm never going to stop, You will, though. You will. But we are reticent to feel feelings. I call it kind of driving through the rainstorm, because I like to make things like a road trip. And you will, when you're driving, you're going to see it ahead and being like, all right, I know when I open that box of the stuff that was my dad's, or that was my mom's, or that was my sister's, or that was my husband's, or that was my wife's stuff, it's going to make me feel feeling. Those items are going to make me feel a feeling. Do I feel like I can handle that today? Yes, no, maybe. But when I feel like I can do it, I just do a little bit at a time. And I realize, oh, that wasn't as bad. Oh, I'm kind of laughing. Oh, that's something I definitely don't need. That's the sentimental stuff, but I will share with you guys. So to me, when I coach, there's 3 layers of clutter. There's surface, there's stored, and then there's sentimental. So 3 layers. Even if you never touch one item that is sentimental, even if all you do is clear your surfaces and clear your storage, your house is going to look and feel like 100% better. Yes, angels, and there's plenty of ways to go about these things. Angels is saying, I was told if you really want to buy or let something go, take a picture of it, as it will help. Yeah, taking a picture of something kind of gives you some distance, and it gives you time to almost feel like you already have it, and then you can better decide whether I really need this thing, or am I doing this, am I buying this item because it's going to make me, I am hoping that buying this item is going to make me feel a certain way. And for the short term, it will. Buying something is going to be like, whee, look at me, I bought this, and then boom, you're going to be like, okay, well now I just have it. And then you want to get that whee feeling again. And then you're like, oh, now I just have it. Let me go out and get that dopamine hit, And notice that about yourselves. I used to do it. I mean, I'm not perfect. I used to go to Target, and if there was something that was what do you call it? Lime green or aqua or orange or yellow, because I already had those colors in my house, I'd be like, ooh. I mean, I did it. It's so funny. I did that like a couple months ago, and I knew as I was doing it, I was like, you know what? It's only $5. I'm going to use this basket. I didn't really use the basket. So all of us are in the same boat. Yes, Lori is saying, can you say the third thing again? Surface, stored, and sentimental. Yeah. Surface is just the stuff on the surfaces. Any horizontal surface, like I'm here in the bedroom. So it would be like clothing on your bureau drawer. It would be stuff on the floor. It would be stuff piled up on your bed. Any kind of horizontal surface that has stuff in it is surface clutter. Now, one of the reasons you may have surface clutter is because your storage is also full. Because it's sitting there on the top, because if you go to put it away, as I like to say, between, in drawers of your bureau or your dresser, or in closets, that those places where you store your clutter are already full. So noticing that can give you the opportunity to kind of rejigger, to balance those things out. But because we save things not just for, rational reasons, we save them for irrational reasons. Like even this right here, this sweatshirt that you can see right here, this is something I got like 1984, I think. I asked my mother because I had this t-shirt from 1980. It was the English Beat, Just Can't Stop It. This was a t-shirt, and the t-shirt was too small and it shrunk and all that, but I liked the thing on the front. And so I asked my mother to sew it to this sweatshirt. Now I've had this sweatshirt for forever. It is really hard. I don't say struggle. It's only one sweatshirt, but I've had it since 1984. It is now 40 years from that. Do I still have it? Yes. How often do I wear it? I don't often wear it, but I still keep it because sometimes I do wear it. Yeah. And Joy Ginger is saying, I had a friend. Her home always looked like it was out of a magazine. I never understood how she did it. Well, a couple of things. One is maybe she had help. The other thing is, too, maybe she was brought up in an environment that taught her the skills of decluttering and maintaining a home. I know I wasn't brought up that way, and I bet a lot of you weren't either, for one reason or another. It was just the time of life that we were living in. It's a skill. The other thing, too, is that her stuff may have looked good on the surface, but you don't know what was hidden in the basement or the attic or the garage or the shed, or, she may have had stuff that, underneath the surface. Notice we said underneath the surface was a completely different story. Yeah, and I do. Yep, and I do still enjoy my sweatshirt, and I put it on last night because I was feeling a little bit, kind of having a what do you call that? Whatever, I was feeling hot. Can you tell, as I said, like when you're not feeling good, you're not at 100%, but you can still do some stuff. You don't need to wait until you feel perfect to get started doing something. So I offer this to you, okay? You are so kind to still show up today after you're sick. You know what? Thank you, Jelly, for saying that. And I will say this. I like to say, this is how I used to be when I used to manage teams. I like to say yes more often than I say no. But I ran it through my own machine this morning. Do I feel well enough to do a TikTok live this morning at 9 o'clock until 10 o'clock? And I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'll just be chill. I'll be here in the bed with, my box of Kleenex and my teddy bear and my water and my cup of tea and my chapstick. And then when I'm done, I will chill. And, yeah, okay. Then notice that, Joy Ginger. No help, always redecorating. Friends for 40 years. Trust me, no clutter, but throws it all away. So notice that all of us have different habits. All of us have different ways in which we deal with the stuff in our lives. Just get curious about that. What can you, is that what you want to do? Do you want to be always reinventing and spending the money on stuff? I don't know. To me, I love the frock right now. And thank you, Joy Ginger, saying I hope you feel better. I feel better already. I do. This is crazy to me, but I don't even buy stuff anymore. And I love giving myself the opportunity to do that. But even yesterday when we were traveling, so we were in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I went to this coffee shop, and it was called Please and Thank You. And I thought that was such a cool name. And I was like, oh, should I get a keychain? Should I get a bumper sticker? And I was like, you know what? I don't really need to get any of that stuff. I'm cool with having my husband gotten some coffee there. So notice the stuff. That's the wonderful thing. When you're not spending all of your life and your money maintaining the items in your home, you can go out and do things you would rather do. Spend your time playing, relaxing. I don't feel bad saying today, you know what, anything I was going to do today, with the exception of my client. And also I realized, and this is another benefit of doing my coaching on Zoom, my client will not get sick from me because she's in another state. I coach people from all over the country. However, I was signed up for a yoga class tonight. Now I will get in touch with my yoga teacher, because the last thing I want to do is to give anybody else my germs. So there are things that I'm going to do differently today than I planned on when I had scheduled out my day. So notice the things that you do, you plan on doing, and just get curious why you aren't doing the stuff you say you're going to do. This is no judgment. This is where it happens. Because curiosity gives you some distance. When you look at something from a different angle, oh, I said I was going to do that thing this week. I said I was going to spend an hour in my closet pulling out clothing this week. Why didn't I do that? Did something else more fun show up? Maybe. Did I distract myself until it was too late? But you all know that there's certain things you want to declutter in your home, right? Don't judge yourself. Judgment is one of these feelings over on this side that's going to shut you down and you're not going to look for answers. However, pardon me, I'm going to stretch my legs. Oh, I'm sweating. Sweating to the oldies. However, get curious about why you do the things you do and the things you don't do. You know? Make yourself some pickled garlic. I also got the sniffles a couple of days ago. Yeah. And Bobby Dugas, yes, it's a big look at why you didn't. And again, if you judge yourself, you're like, why didn't you do that? Oh, you're going to just curl up in a ball. But you say, hey, why didn't I? If I go back to kind of, as I like to joke, the scene of the crime. When I remembered, like, first of all, did I put it on my calendar? Did I set a certain day of the week and time of day to do this? If I did, why didn't I do it? Even if I wasn't that organized, if I just said, I'm going to do it this weekend, why didn't I do the thing, take the action? Learn from the way that you do things and the way you talk to yourself, the way you discourage yourself from doing the decluttering, so that you can better talk to yourself. If certain words make you not want to do it, I mean, it's kind of like math. If certain words in your head make you feel a way that you don't want to declutter, the wonderful thing is, to me, the opposite of those words will make you want to declutter. You know? Notice this. I love it. Danny Smith says, I have completely decluttered the whole house and only have the things I look at and say, I love that. Awesome. Yes, and notice we're not just doing this. People, if you're hanging out with me, this is the tour bus we're on. Decluttering, having fun, getting it done, and making sure that you know by the time you hop off the bus that you know how to do this yourself even when I'm not around, you know? And I love teaching people that because it was something I had to learn, you know? Now, I have a lot of years of experience getting the surfaces to look good because I worked in visual merchandising, I was an art history major, I was a photographer, all sorts of things on the surface. But as far as what was behind drawers and doors, forget it. You know, I didn't know how to deal with it because I wasn't trained in how to do that, you know? There we go. Royal Level Pebble says, the garlic works. Good to know. I'm on my way to my decluttered house. Laundry room and now dining room are done. Wonderful. Now, here's the thing about done, too. I want to riff on this for just a minute. Is done, it doesn't last that long. It's like losing weight. You weigh yourself one day and you're at that magical random number that's on the scale. The very next day, it could be up, it could be down, it could be different. Things will move. Learning how to maintain your house so it stays decluttered, okay? When your house stays decluttered, when you change your habits so you stay decluttered, that's the second part of this whole process when I coach people. We always start with, I've got a lot of this stuff and I need to I don't know what to do with the stuff that I have, this giant pile of stuff that's accumulated over decades. And yet, it's not just knocking down that stuff, because if you don't change your habits of shopping, of thinking, of doing, you're going to just fill up your home again. You know, if you're never satisfied, if you're never happy with it, you're going to buy more stuff. You know? Terry says, it's fun to have you in my home. Awesome. Thank you for inviting me. Oh, and there's two Terrys, Terry Teague and Terry Erickson. You both spell them the same way. I don't know if you can see it in the comments, but I can see that. Now, I could come to your house, but I'm not going to. I could come to your house and do this for you. But that would only be my decisions. Can you imagine if I came to your house and said, I don't think that thing is, why the heck do you have that? And you threw it away. That's why it can be really challenging when you try to help somebody. Your heart's in the right place, but helping somebody is only from your decision maker. I think that's good to keep it. I think that's lousy, throw it away. But I shouldn't be making decisions on your things. I should not be making decisions for you. You should have the freedom to choose what stays in your house and what doesn't. There we got Red Hat Coco. Greetings from Nebraska. I don't think I have any clients from Nebraska. Interesting. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, and I promised myself I won't reclutter. Promises are great, but actions and promises together is going to be your secret weapon. Is noticing your actions that get you cluttered. Like right now, I know, for example, I have some clothing on my bureau right here. My bureau has clothing on it because it was clean clothes that were done right before we went on our trip last week. It's going to take me literally like less than 30 seconds to put them in the drawers because it's easy to put them in there because there's room in the drawers. So I will do that momentarily and it will be done. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. Okay, there we go. So, oh, thank you. Yes, Strong Silver Soul Sister. Yeah, this used to be. Talk about what is that thing that's around now? Like low core, recycle core or something. Back in the 80s, I had this T-shirt and we sewed it onto a sweatshirt, and then it was the 80s. So of course I cut off the neck and everything. Yeah. Hello from West Virginia. Awesome. Yeah, and notice shopping has drastically decreased. Shopping can make you feel good sometimes, but then you get the aftermath of having just more crap you have to deal with. I only shop right now to basically solve problems. If we run out of toilet paper, I go get toilet paper. If we've run out of something, if we need something for dinner, that's really all I do. If I'm trying to solve a problem and make my life easy, Oh, thank you. Yeah, Shell is saying, love the color of this room. Yes, so this is the bedroom. I'm sitting in my bed because I'm sick. You can probably hear it right here. I totally lost my train of thought. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. Minnesota. I love it. Rainwater, you make my brain work right. You declutter my brain. You know what? I only offer these things to you. I want to empower y'all, okay? You are listening to what I'm saying and hanging around to listen to it and let it absorb. You are making your brain work better for you. I just show up and I share these things with you. You could have scrolled on by. Walk on by. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, Red Hat Coco was saying first time to be here. Hey, what do you do with old books? Hate to throw them away. So let's see. Somebody says I donate mine to the Goodwill. I donate mine to the Goodwill. Our neighborhood has a library. You can donate books to the library. You can also have those like small, what are they, like the little free libraries people have. Maybe you've got some really expensive books. You could try to sell them. You could give them away. You could put them out with a free sign on your yard if you live in a place that you can do that. All sorts of things you could do it, Mm-hmm. I want you to think about the fact that just because you decide you don't want anything doesn't mean it immediately has to go into the dumpster. I don't know why. You see, I've always been, look at me. I'm using this as an example. It was a T-shirt that didn't work for me anymore, and I kind of upcycled it into a sweatshirt. That was in 1984, maybe 83 even. I've had this for forever. So I'm always looking at, there's a different, you don't need to just throw everything away. Certain things you will want to throw away because they don't work well. But it doesn't go from A to B, like from I don't want it to the trash. There are different steps along the way that you can do these things. Yeah, Wendy Rose is saying the Council on Aging. Library is there. Yeah, I love doing that with shirts. Yeah, notice those things. So there are different things you can do with the stuff you're struggling with. And you're not going to make all these, I will share this with you, you're not going to make all these decisions in a day either. You're not. Sometimes you have to wait a while to be ready to make a decision that feels good with you. But the cool thing is that so much of what the decluttering is going to be your surface clutter and your stored clutter. That's very low level on the feeling spectrum. That if you just work on your surface clutter and your stored clutter and never even once touch anything that fell under the category of sentimental, your house would look and function so much better than it currently does. But this is why I start this way with my clients and also just on these TikToks, is reminding yourself that there are different levels. Sentimental is really deep. It makes you feel feelings. It tells you stories. You get a little bit of that in stored clutter. Stored is going to be, I've got all these mugs because I got in the habit of buying mugs at Starbucks every time I went we went traveling, and now all of a sudden I have a wicked lot of mugs. Surface clutter is basically the stuff that's every day, but the surface clutter is you not putting stuff away where it belongs, because maybe you don't know where it belongs. Maybe where you think it belongs is already full. So notice these things. You can do something about a lot of the stuff in your house. So don't get the sentimental things in the way thinking, well, I don't know what to do with that really painful thing. A lot of clients do this. A lot of people on these things, they will pick out the most painful thing to let go of and focus on that one little thing, whereas around you, you could do 99% better with just, your dishes and your laundry and your surfaces, and getting the balance right. Get the balance right, Depeche Mode, anybody? You could get the balance right with the quantity and quality of your everyday items. Okay? There we go. Royal Level Pebble says, and I want to have the room for making crafts and building things. I want more space, And me and my hobbies. Yeah, notice if I was in my office, and I'm not, but I would say that that's your destination. Doing the decluttering, not just to have it, doing the decluttering where you realize that the effort you put in is going to give you a result that you want. So let's work backwards. What's the result you want? And then what can you do to get there? That's what it's really all about, Now, that's funny because KM says this is such a novel way to think about things. This is how I think all the time, even when I don't have a cold. My brain has always worked different. I'm left-handed. I am female. I am woman, hear me roar. But notice in a road trip, okay? When you're excited to get somewhere, when you really want something, and you want that feeling of, yeah, I want that, then you're going to do stuff that you normally would not do in order to get what you want, So, there we go. So Barefoot Eclectic, I want a clean kitchen table today. I love the specificity. I'm always about specificity. Hoping to get it cleared again today. Now here's an interesting thing. Hope almost implies that it's out of your control. I hope to win the lottery. But I ask you this, okay? What's jamming you up on the kitchen table, Barefoot Eclectic, that you're afraid it might not get done? Hope is a good thing. Hope is a good emotion, but you got to marry that. You got to pair it up with some action. There we go. I love it. Strong Silver Soul Sister says, with less clutter, I'm making more art. Less is more. I love that. Because here's the thing, you guys. I will share with you. I used to spend a lot of my time cleaning the house, organizing my stuff, tidying up, all that. I don't do that anymore because it's just done and I'm not bringing in stuff the way I used to. I have so much free time now. It is wonderful. So maybe what you want is just free time that, your house is going to look good and feel good and you've spent an hour scrolling on TikTok, Wendy Rose says, I wear wigs because of medical issues. We have space in TikTok community to trade, give away. There you go. Good to know. If anybody has wigs, talk to Wendy. Pat is saying, how do you deal with a spouse when spouse is a hoarder? Okay. Now, this is where I want to be really kind of serious and sincere about this. Hoarding is a diagnosis in the DSM-5 for people who have a mental health disorder. Their mental health is not in order, so therefore they hoard. So if your husband is a true diagnosed hoarder, then I say, in all honesty, get some help for their mental health. However, as any of us would know, it's really hard to make decisions for other people. So he's got to want to change it. He may not want to, and this is where it gets kind of dicey. I would say this, Pat. Yeah, okay, Joy Ginger, same. Okay, approach your husband with love and curiosity about the hoarding. Notice that living in a house that's full of hoarding, in a way, kind of gives him a feeling that feels good short term, but then there's too much. It is a precarious situation because it could be causing great kind of strife in your life. But what I would say is make sure that you've got your own, eggs in one basket. That's not, but actually not that one. But you're taking care of your own stuff. It's not just his. If you learn how to work through your items, you might inspire him that it feels safe to allow himself to let something go and something bad is not going to happen. But hoarding to me often comes from trauma. And I am a certified life coach, but I am not a trained, licensed mental health professional. So I love that there are people out there who are and that do help people with that. So it is a diagnosis. You can get help for that, but get help for the thing that really is working. But you can learn a lot from what I'm talking about. Just noticing that you're hanging on to stuff because you think it's giving you a sense of security, but then the quantity of items, it's gotten out of control. Okay. Barefoot Eclectic says, keeping my ADHD in check is the struggle part. I sometimes end up cleaning something else instead. Okay. Now, I have ADHD in my family, my clients. I probably have a bit of it myself. And I would say to this, okay, you cleaned something. Okay, it just wasn't what you thought. Allow yourself that certain times to just putter around, as I say, like flutter, plutter, declutter. Flutter around like a butterfly from things. Putter around your house, whatever. It's going to make one part of it better. However, this is what I will say to you. When you go to clean something else and then you pivot, what is it about the thing you said you were going to do that caused you to not just go straight and do it, but it told you to take a right? Notice these things. Yeah. Joy Ginger is saying, I moved out of the bedroom. He will not discuss. He can barely fit on the bed. Okay. And this is why I say this with love for you, with love for your husband. Trained mental health professionals. You can't change anybody else. They've got to want to change. Notice you're trying to change them by moving out of the bedroom. And maybe there's support for hoarders. Maybe there are people out there that are spouses of people who hoard that you can help with. There's so much help. The way that that the internet allows us to connect with people. I mean, I coach people from across the country. I'm in Pennsylvania, but I coach people from multiple states. It would not be, I couldn't do that if it weren't for the internet. I bet you could connect up with people who are struggling with you and that you offer some support and trips and things like that. Yeah, exactly. Cat Mom is saying you must have a fever, sweaty, take care of yourself first. Yes, I totally do have a fever. That was the word I was looking for earlier. Yeah. Oh, thanks for making the world a better place. Thank you. Clutterers Anonymous could be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not feeling perfect today. I will share this with you. I'm a bit drenchy. It's going to be okay. I'm going to do some things to make myself feel better. What are you going to do today to make yourself feel better? You should be thinking about this every day, because when you feel better, you're going to do better. Yep. Okay. He has no problem with it. 70 years old, he's fine, rarely comes out of the room. Okay. Joy Ginger, I'm going to get deep, but I will share this with you. He has no problem with it, but he doesn't come out of his room, There's a thing right there. That, to me, is if he was fine with it, he'd be going from room to room. This is going to get deep, but I think a lot of us are going to realize when you have people in your life that are dealing with clutter or not dealing with clutter, let me correct myself, not dealing with clutter, you may be the person to deal with their clutter when they die. Because nobody ever gets, enlightenment and changing your life is not guaranteed before you die. That person could die and still have a lot of stuff hanging around their house. So Joy Ginger, I would say, you know what? Start to create a world. And I mean, this is going to sound but I mean this with my heart, is saying, okay, what am I going to do with this stuff when you're gone? Because if he's not leaving the house and he can't get out of bed, there's obviously some other stuff going on there. You may outlive this person. Why don't you start making a plan for that stuff? Maybe ask them what they want to do with it. So just notice that and start making a plan for yourself. Okay? Now, I think about that. We have a friend who passed away a couple of weeks ago. He had a bunch of guitars because he would collect them and build them and things like that. My husband has a bunch of guitars. I want to know, if my husband happens to go before us, what he wants to be done. Having these conversations with a person could scare them into, getting something done before they're gone. Or, like another friend of ours from down the street, you could get sick and just pass away and your house is filled with crap. Yeah, and notice this. Yeah, Joy Ginger, it's already, I resent having to clean his room in his garage. Okay, then how about this? Don't do it. Don't do it. No, if it's his garage and his room, let him take care of his own stuff. Seriously, people. This is where I get very kind of like taking care of you. You should not be feeling resentment. And when you take care of yourself first, you will take care of your own things. Okay? So, yeah, tell him he needs to get help. There's all sorts of things. I highly recommend you do some Googling to wherever you live. And this is the cool thing, too, is even if you're not living in a place that has like a one-on-one, there are online groups of people that gather together with this. This is not my wheelhouse. This is why I like to be very clear up front when I started with this, is that I am not a trained mental health professional, nor would I ever pretend to be. I am a certified life coach. That's like on like the surface level stuff. Now, I can get really deep with things, but I am not the best person to give you that kind of advice. But that doesn't mean that help is not existing. You know? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Strong Silver Soul Sister. I hope you feel better soon. I think I'm feeling better already, actually. It's funny, you would notice, I think it's because of the Dayquil and the tea and the water. My voice is sounding different from the beginning of the call until right now, where I've got about 10 minutes left. Yeah, I'm not feeling so great. I'm going to take the day off. And I'm going to take care of myself. I say this to you, too, to take care of yourself. Yourself. What can you do today to take care of yourself? Never mind anybody else. Seriously. What can you do today? If you're not feeling so great, what can you do to feel better? You know, I'm going to chill out today. I love it. I love having the flexibility to do that. I don't know if you have the same flexibility, but you can still do things today. You can say yes to something that makes you feel good and no to something that's not going to help you. You know, there's very few crises. Okay? And I look forward to feeling better soon too. So I'm going to do these things. I'm going to do things that make me feel better. And as I said, I will probably accumulate a pile of Kleenexes on the side of the bed, and I will probably fall asleep and I'll putter around, or maybe I'll stay in bed and feel better. But when I feel better, I do better. I'll put those Kleenexes in the trash can. I will go out and take a walk in the fresh air. You know, I will move my body around. You know, so I say this because to me, decluttering is a life skill that maybe you just weren't taught. Decluttering is a life skill because it helps you make decisions on what is going to get you the life you want. One of the reasons I have the ability, it's not lost on me, one of the reasons I have the ability to lay in bed all day is because I have designed a life, I have made decisions to allow myself a flexible schedule because that was really important to me. Now, do I have clients today? Yes, I do, but it's very light. And yes, if I felt really lousy, the wonderful thing is I am I have a really good relationship with all of my clients. I am flexible with them, and they are flexible with me. So where can you get some flexibility in your life? You know, what do you want? You know, what do you want in your life? What do you not want in your life anymore? That's really what decluttering is. If you think about it, you guys, decluttering is getting rid of what you don't want. Think about that. Decluttering means getting rid of, in however you want to define that, the stuff that you don't want anymore. The habits, the items, the people, the food that you're sick of eating, is saying, I don't want this anymore, and then doing something about it. And you can do something about that. I don't want to feel this way anymore. What's making me feel that way? I'm going to do something different about it. Okay. Yes, Bobby Dugas is saying, yes, editing. Yes, it's all about that kind of, not nebulous. It's like quality and quantity. Getting the quality of the items that you have and the quantity of items you have just right for you. So I think about that when I talk about like the mugs in our cupboard that my husband and I, like, we both like different kinds of mugs, and he buys many more mugs that have sayings on them and stuff like that. I have my own, very few, but they fit, when they're all clean, they fit easily in the drawer. We do tend to use them, and we have enough that when people come over, we can have coffee together, you know? Excuse me. I'd like to call it cheating my museum. Yeah, or creating your museum. Yeah. Being surrounded by things that you're like, oh my God, I love that. I mean, here we are, like, anybody see we were away, and we saw the opening of the Olympics, and everybody was at the Louvre. You know, a museum is saving the good stuff. It isn't all art from everybody. It's just the good stuff. Now, your house could be a casual museum of the stuff you love. You know, so Miss Goody Two Shoes, what if you want it but do not use it? So this is where you need to, the way it works is you have a conversation with yourself. So Miss Goody Two Shoes, Goody Two Shoes, I would say, if you don't use it, why do you want it? Oh. You know, what is it? Why do you want it? If you want it, why aren't you using it? Now, I don't have the answers. You have those answers, but getting yourself into a state of feeling where you can just be open to yourself. You feel safe enough to answer those questions. Why do I want this if I never use it? Maybe because I want to use it someday. Maybe I want to have a fondue party, so I hang on to the fondue pot. But we haven't used it since we got married, so maybe what I'll do is I will invite some people over to have some fondue. Notice that. Maybe I don't want to have people over for fondue. Maybe I don't even like the way the fondue cheese tastes. Maybe I'm saving it because somebody gave it to me and I feel bad getting rid of it. It's all going to be the stories in your head that make you feel a feeling. Okay? Everybody, you've got it. Me too. I've got my own stories that make me feel a feeling. I look at things, but I've gotten so much better at having those conversations with myself and saying, is hanging on to this going to give me the outcome that I want? Excuse me. So think of something. How about this? Think of something, everybody, not just Miss Goody Two-Shoes. So today is what? Today's the 29th? Think of something that you have in your house that you say you want to keep but you haven't been using. And this is one of the tricks of the trade. Give yourself a deadline. How about the end of August? I'm going to use this. I'm going to make a plan to use this item by the end of August. And if I don't use it by the end of August, I'm giving it away. Try it about that. Try that. See if it works. Now, some of the stuff you have may be seasonal from other seasons of the witch, seasons of the year. You know yourself. Okay, well, I've got a bunch of Christmas stuff. Because here's the deal. I hate to be freaking you out, people. In a few days, it's going to be the 8th month of the year. Now, I know this because I'm a Leo. It's my birthday is in August. We've got August, September, October, November, December. We are officially way past the halfway mark on the calendar. So already my mind, maybe because I worked in retail all the time, I'm already thinking of Christmas stuff. So thinking of, what do you want your home to look like for Thanksgiving? Are you going to have people over for Thanksgiving this year? Look ahead. Look through your rearview mirror. Start to plan your future. How do you want to look? I remember when I was working with one of my very first clients. She was a dear friend of mine, and I was just getting into this. And she said it was really important for her that when people came over to trick or treat for Halloween, she wanted to feel good about opening the door so that her judgy neighbors would see a nice clean house when the door was opened. And on the off chance that one of the children from the neighborhood needed to use the bathroom, she would feel good about bringing the kid in and the mom, So notice the things that can give you that destination. We've got Halloween, we got back to school is coming up, then we got Halloween, we got Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas, then New Year's, people. Holy frigolies. It's going to be 2025 before you know it. Pop Tart Mama 19 says, I love that you think of music lyrics all the time. Trust me, I'm I'm not a talented musical person, but I know songs and I'm married to a musician. So there we go. Me to a Leo, also in retail. Oh my goodness. LA 64367, back to school here on August 8th. Oh, that's awful. I even at my age, I haven't been back to school since the 80s, maybe early 90s when I got my certification. I never want to go back. I like summer. I like farting around. I like playing. Back to school was very regimented for me. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Barbara's saying, can't have people over for fondue because the home is too cluttered. Also missing parts of fondue set. Okay, so maybe if you want to have people over for fondue, you'll get your house decluttered, and then it's not just for the people who come over for fondue. It's for you. You get to live in a decluttered house. That's why I say a lot of times to people, create a destination in your head and start moving towards it. That's what I want to feel if people stop by and want to clean. All right, Colorado. Oh my goodness. No, thank you. I think it should be against the law to go back to school before Labor Day weekend. But that's just me. Okay. Decluttering. I'm going to wrap it up because I'm going to be here for a minute and I want to share this with you. No matter how small the decluttering you do today, it is worth celebrating. Okay? It is worth celebrating whatever you do today to take care of yourself. Decluttering is a life skill. You will notice when people check in here and they say, I decluttered, they always are leaving it up with, and I feel so good. It felt so good. I feel so much better. That's why I show up to encourage you to declutter. I don't give a crap what it looks like for other people. I want you to feel good in your home. Because when you feel good, you're going to do good in the world. But when you're not feeling good, you're all like, I can't have people over, I can't have fondue, I can't. I want you to learn the skills of saying, I can, and this is how we do it, and it's a little bit at a time. There we go. Barbara says, working towards it. Towards, that means you're working towards something. You are helping a lot. Right. Okay. Yeah, okay, Miss Nisi, I will say this. It's 10 o'clock now. I'm going to sign off in a minute. But notice when you say, I feel like I don't do enough when I'm decluttering, that's a very unhelpful thought. So quiet down that thought, and I will replace it with this. Anything I do decluttering is good. Okay? So, Red Hat Coco is saying, how often do you go live? I go live about once a day. If you want to know the schedule for it, sign up for my mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, and there's a little place to put in your email. I share the schedule with the people on my mailing list, so they know what time of day and day of week between now and Friday, maybe Saturday and Sunday, that I'm going to be live. So destinationdecluttered.com. Me, Beth, I'm a decluttering life coach, and check me out, you guys. I'm high-fiving myself. I felt crappy. As you can see, I'm sweating because I'm sweating to the oldies. And I will show up at some point tomorrow. If you want to know when, get on my mailing list, okay? And I love it. Strong Silver Soul Sister made the bed, hung up the clothes, and put in a load of laundry all while on this call. I love it. All right, I'm going to sign off, you guys. And I plan on showing up tomorrow at a time and a place that I feel better. All right? Bye. Oh, there we go. TikTok's doing a weird thing. Okay, bye.